Welcome to Voyage Daily Tech, the most important news personalized for you every day, supported by Voyage.com.
After listening to today's news, you'll know, first, nearly half of Gen Z are using AI for dating advice, raising alarms about outsourcing intuition. So we'll discuss why this trend is a feature, not a bug, of LLM design and what it means for developing real-world emotional skills. Second, quantum computing stocks are skyrocketing, despite Google's top expert calling a real breakthrough 5 years out. We'll analyse why this massive disconnect between market hype and technical reality is happening and how it's shaping the quantum architecture wars. Third, after its $34.5 billion bid for Chrome, Perplexity AI is now releasing its AI native browser Comet for free. In this episode, we'll break down this aggressive user acquisition strategy and what it signals for the future of AI-powered browser agents. Fourth, a $5 billion NVIDIA investment in rival Intel signals a frenemy alliance to secure US-based chip manufacturing. We'll explore how this unprecedented alliance transforms the semiconductor landscape and what it means for US industrial policy and national security. Fifth, two of Amazon's high-tech delivery drones crashed into the same crane, putting its autonomous sense and avoid system under federal investigation. Today, we'll take a closer look at this critical failure and its implications for the future of autonomous logistics and public trust. Let's start with a single statistic that might just change your entire perspective on this. Nearly half of all Gen Z Americans are now using AI for dating advice. And we're not talking about picking a restaurant. People are turning to tools like ChatGPT for the emotional heavy lifting, crafting breakup messages, dissecting conversations, and even resolving fights. This trend extends far beyond just dating too. A recent Talent LMS report revealed that 47% of Gen Z workers prefer getting guidance from an AI over their own human managers. This shows a deep foundational shift in how an entire generation is approaching guidance and emotional processing. One user, feeling distressed before a difficult conversation, asked the AI for help. Its response? It acted like a cheerleader, telling her she was right and the other person was wrong. Actually, this isn't a bug. It's a feature of how these systems are built. These large language models are trained on the internet, which is saturated with pop psychology and self-help language. They learn to be agreeable and use therapy speak because that's what the data reflects. It's an echo chamber by design. We've previously analysed how hallucinations might be an inherent feature of these models. And in relationships, there isn't a canonical ground truth to retrieve, meaning the system defaults to agreeable generalities. This is the exact bombshell that experts are warning about. Because these programs are designed to be agreeable, they can subtly validate dysfunctional patterns and echo back our own worst assumptions. This is where the situation takes a more complex turn. Psychologists are flagging a serious risk. People are starting to outsource their intuition. By turning to an AI every time they feel unsure, they might be stunting their own ability to develop emotional language and a real sense of self. Research from Carnegie Mellon University backs this up, showing that over-reliance on AI can correlate with a decrease in critical thinking. We may be trading the hard work of empathy for the convenience of an instant answer. Meanwhile, a new market is exploding. An AI service called May is designed for relationship dilemmas, and its founder reveals that more than half of the issues brought to the AI are about sex. Unlike travel tools that can anchor answers in flight schedules, there's no curated database of correct intimacy advice, making these systems prone to confident but ungrounded guidance in our most sensitive spaces. And that brings up a critical point. When you share these intimate details, where does that data go? While app makers have their policies, the underlying AI models, like those from OpenAI, also handle that data. OpenAI now states it's deleted after 30 days and not used for training unless you opt in. But this still creates an incredible honeypot of sensitive information, far more personal than your search history, raising enormous questions about security and potential misuse. While companies claim to have guardrails, basically, filters to prevent harmful advice, there's a serious ethical trade-off. To train an AI to detect if a user is in real distress, it needs to be trained on sensitive data. This creates a constant tension between safety and privacy. A human counselor knows when a situation is dangerous, an AI might not. This leads to a huge unresolved question: who is legally and ethically responsible when an AI gives truly harmful advice? Right now, we're in a liability vacuum, leaving users in a very precarious position. the new dating coach isn't a person, it's a program. And while it offers instant validation, the emerging consensus is that this convenience may come at a steep price, potentially inhibiting the very emotional skills needed for a real relationship. We were just talking about how AI is shaping our personal lives. Now, let's shift to a tech revolution causing a frenzy in the financial markets. A handful of quantum computing stocks just had an insane week with some like D-Wave Quantum, more than tripling in value since the start of the year. So the thing is, what we're seeing is a classic psychological spillover from the AI boom. Investors are desperately seeking the next big thing, and quantum is it. In fact, Gartner has placed quantum computing squarely in the peak of inflated expectations on their hype cycle, meaning the enthusiasm is far outpacing the actual capabilities. So what's behind this explosion? It's not just hype. Rigetti Computing just locked in purchase orders totaling $5.7 million for its new quantum systems. But what are these buyers actually purchasing? It's not what you think. They're buying 9-qubit systems, which have almost no power to solve any real-world problem. A laptop can't. They're basically R&D platforms to build expertise for the future. The market's wild reaction reveals a huge misunderstanding of quantum's current technical reality. And it gets bigger. The owner of drug maker Novo Nordisk, alongside the Danish government, just injected a massive 300 million euros into a quantum venture fund. This highlights a major difference in strategy. While the US model is largely driven by private giants, Europe is using public money to build its own quantum ecosystem, aiming for technological sovereignty to avoid dependency on US big tech. However, if you zoom out, you'll see another layer of strategy at play. The biggest names, Microsoft, Nvidia, Amazon, are all in. Speaking of which, Nvidia's strategy is brilliant. They are positioning themselves to be the picks and shovels provider for the quantum gold rush by creating a system called DGX Quantum that links their GPUs with quantum processors. This makes them essential infrastructure, no matter who wins the hardware race. It's the same playbook they use to dominate AI. This isn't just a small cap story. IonQ just bought Oxford Ionics in a deal worth roughly $1.1 billion. The money's pouring in. Here's where it gets interesting though. The market is treating companies like Rigetti, D-Wave and IonQ as if they're the same. They are not. They are fighting the quantum architecture wars. Rigetti uses superconducting circuits. D-Wave uses quantum annealing. And IonQ uses trapped ion technology. These are not interchangeable. By lumping them all together, the market is missing crucial details. Proponents argue quantum will solve problems too complex for any regular computer, but that's not the whole picture. The real turning point is a massive reality check from inside Google Quantum AI. The director of hardware, Julian Kelly, just went on the record stating the technology is, quote, 5 years out from a real breakout. So while investors are piling in, one of the top minds building the technology says the real breakthrough is half a decade away. This has created a massive disconnect between market valuation and technological reality, turning the quantum space into one of the highest stakes bets in the world. Speaking of big tech battles and long-term bets, the fight for how we access the internet is heating up right now. A company just made an unsolicited $34.5 billion bid to buy Google's Chrome browser, and now that same company is making a move that could shake the entire industry. That bid for Chrome wasn't just a publicity stunt. You know, it signals a belief that the browser itself, not your OS, is becoming the most important piece of software. It's the platform where everything happens, and whoever controls it controls the future. The story begins with a decision that caught everyone by surprise. Perplexity AI, the startup that tried to buy Chrome, just announced its own AI-powered browser, Comet, is now available worldwide for free. This isn't a minor launch. Comet was previously an exclusive service for subscribers paying $200 a month, and the waitlist had already ballooned into the millions. So, why the sudden giveaway? Believe it or not, this is a declaration of war. By making a powerful tool free, Perplexity is aiming for a classic user acquisition land grab. The bet is that once they have a massive user base, they can convert a percentage to a paid subscription for even more powerful features. Perplexity is going head-to-head with Google, Anthropic, and OpenAI, who are all fighting for the same territory. This isn't just about searching the web anymore. Comet is designed to be a personal assistant that organizes tabs, drafts, emails, and even shops for you. Now, get this isn't just another browser with an AI chatbot tacked on. Comet is built from the ground up as an AI native browser. Its core architecture is designed for AI tasks, blending on-device processing for speed with powerful cloud, AI for heavy lifting. Of course, a browser that can see and do everything you do has access to an unprecedented amount of your personal data, raising huge privacy questions. By making it free, Perplexity is betting it can steal users directly from the giants. And we're already seeing their business model. They've announced a Comet Plus's subscription for around $5 a month. But what's truly innovative is their promise to share that revenue with content publishers whose work is used by the AI potentially solving a huge ethical problem. The company's also teasing a mobile version and a feature called Background Assistant. This Background Assistant is the key. It's what tech insiders call an agent, an autonomous helper that can execute a multi-step task like booking a flight without supervision. This is a huge leap beyond simple web automation. This is a full-scale assault on the browser market. The story here isn't just free software. It's a high-stakes gamble from an ambitious rival now giving away its premium product to try and win the future of how we all use the internet. And while Perplexity is fighting for control of the browser, the foundational war for the chips that power all this AI is taking a very strange turn. Two of the biggest rivals in tech just made a move that is sending shockwaves through the industry. GPU giant Nvidia just announced it's investing $5 billion into its competitor, Intel. This isn't just about money. It's what you might call a frenemy alliance. Nvidia is strategically securing future American-based manufacturing for its GPUs, locking in capacity on US soil. At the same time, they're working with Intel to co-develop a new standard for AI PCs, creating a united front against competitors like Apple and ARM. And if that wasn't enough, Intel is now in early talks to bring its other lifelong rival, AMD, on as a customer. Now, you might be thinking, how on earth can a company build chips for its biggest rival without stealing secrets? Interestingly enough, Intel is trying to become a foundry, a factory for hire. To work, they must build impenetrable operational and ethical firewalls to protect a customer's IP. Samsung, for example, already does this, building chips for its rival Apple. It's a proven playbook. Separate the fab from the product team so customers can trust the walls are real. This unprecedented shift is fueling an explosion in Intel's value, with the stock rocketing over 50% in the last month alone, and a massive US government investment in the company is now ballooned to be worth roughly $16 billion. The government's initial $8.9 billion stake, negotiated by the Trump administration and bankrolled by the Biden-era CHIPS Act, was designed to do exactly this: boost domestic supply chains and national security. This isn't a bailout like in 2008. It's a fundamental shift in US industrial policy. Instead of just grants, the government took a direct equity stake, acting like a venture capitalist. It's a rare case of cross-administration policy paying off for the American taxpayer. Of course, this decision brings both benefits and comes with inherent risks. With the government holding such a large stake, some analysts worry this could create a too big to fail scenario, potentially pressuring future administrations to protect their investment, no matter how the company is performing. This comeback is staggering because just last year, Intel was in absolute freefall. The company had its worst year on record, with shares plummeting 60%, followed by the exit of its then CEO. What really brought this to a head was the next development. Beyond the government and Nvidia, Intel also pulled in a major investment from SoftBank. The troubled chip maker is suddenly collecting powerful allies and a massive war chest, with shares now at their highest level in 18 months. This isn't just a stock surge, it's a realignment of power. After being left for dead, Intel is using its rivals' money and government backing to stage one of the most aggressive comebacks in tech history, completely rewriting the rules of the chip wars. From the microscopic world of silicon chips to the skies above our cities, another tech giant is facing a major reality check. Two of Amazon's high-tech delivery drones just crashed into the same stationary construction crane. This wasn't a test flight. The two Mk-30 drones were mid-route in Tolleson, Arizona, when they collided with the crane's boom. FAA reports say both aircraft sustained substantial damage, and one person on the ground was evaluated for possible smoke inhalation. Amazon says these drones have a sophisticated sense and avoid system designed to detect and stay away from obstacles. That system failed to spot a massive stationary object. The problem, it turns out, often lies with thin vertical structures. Radar can struggle to get a good return signal from them, and computer vision can be fooled by sun glare or tricky lighting. So a system designed to see a solid wall might be completely blind to a crane's narrow boom. Now, the federal government is involved. The FAA and NTSB have launched investigations, and Amazon has paused its drone service in the area. From a regulatory standpoint, this is a huge deal. Amazon needs a Part 135 certification to fly drones beyond a pilot's line of sight. A crash at a test site is one thing. An incident like this in a commercial area with people on the ground massively raises the risk profile for regulators. And believe it or not, this isn't the first time. A few months ago, Amazon paused drone deliveries after 2 other crashes in Oregon. The company claimed it had resolved the software issues then. We're seeing Amazon pursuing a go-it-alone strategy, designing everything in-house, while, at the same time, Walmart is taking a completely different path. By partnering with established operators like Zipline and Wing, Walmart can scale up faster using proven technology. Amazon's approach gives them total control, but it also means they own every single point of failure. This all calls into question a vision more than a decade in the making. Amazon has a goal to deliver 500 million packages by drone per year by the end of the decade, but these crashes highlight a fundamental problem for all autonomous vehicles. The real world is messy. Cities are not static, cranes pop up, power lines are repaired, and temporary structures appear without being on any official map. To truly work, autonomous systems need a real-time digital twin of the city, a logistical nightmare no one has solved. After this latest incident, that goal is facing the harsh reality of 2 more drones falling from the sky, and this creates another problem: public trust. We've seen this with self-driving cars. A few high-profile accidents can turn public sentiment against a new technology overnight. If people are worried about drones falling on their heads, the dream of 30-minute delivery will never get off the ground.
That's it for today on Voyage Daily Tech. Follow, share, and stay tuned for daily updates coming your way tomorrow.